Hello and welcome to Today in History, today being the July 5th. In 1971, President Richard Nixon certified the 26th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, which lowered the minimum voting age from 21 to 18. Passed on this day in 1950 by the Knesset, the law of return granted Jews the freedom to immigrate to Israel and receive immediate citizenship, but it proved controversial when the question, "Who is a Jew?" raised other issues. In 1989, jailed ANC leader Nelson Mandela met President P.W. Botha to begin negotiating the end of apartheid in South Africa. However, in 1991, the ANC elected Nelson Mandela as its president and Walter Sisulu his deputy. Oliver Tambo becomes national chairman, while Cyril Ramaphosa becomes the secretary general and Jacob Zuma his deputy. In 2007, Bernard Ntuyuhaga, a former army major in Rwanda during the 1994 genocide, was convicted of murdering 10 United Nations peacekeepers who were from Belgium. He was sentenced to 20 years in prison by a Belgian court. And in 2013, President Pranab Mukherjee of India has signed a food plan that proposes to help feed two-thirds of the country's population into law. The plan would provide subsidized food every month to nearly 800 million poor citizens. And on this day in 2008, police deployed troops in the remote state of Ebonyi after 14 people were killed and scores of buildings destroyed in clashes between rival groups, feuding over land. In 2010, Anti-Human Trafficking Agency ruled that it lacks sufficient evidence to criminally charge Senator Ahmad Yerima, 49 years old, for marrying 13-year-old Egyptian girl, daughter of his driver, to whom Yerima allegedly paid $100 million dowry. Also on this day in 2010, over 200 lives and property worth millions of naira, including the state government's ongoing project and farmlands, were destroyed by an ocean surge in Yeye community in Burutu local government area of Delta State. The ocean, which has always been a source of worry to the community for the past years, overflowed its banks and submerged residential buildings, leaving over 200 persons dead and destroying domestic animals and farmlands in the community, while many of the residents are now displaced. In 1962, Algeria officially gained its independence from France, which had declared the African country independent 2 days earlier after 132 years of French invasion. Meanwhile, on this day in 1830, France occupied the North African city of Algiers. Here are some of the international observations holding today being the 5th day of July. Today being the 5th day of July is said to be Independence Day in Algeria. The day marks Algeria's independence from France. The war for independence lasted 8 years and was one of the longest and most devastating periods in Algerian history, ending in 1962. On Independence Day, there is a strong sense of unity and cultural pride throughout all the festivities. The flag, which green and white, is flown proudly through the country and symbolizes Algeria's freedom. Parades, cultural events, and concerts are hosted and are well attended by the public. Happy Independence Day to Algeria. Also today is Venezuela Independence Day. Venezuela is said to be the first independent country in South America. Today we remember Venezuela's role as a leader of popular resistance and the Latin American independence. Also on this day, international observation is the nation's Workaholics Day. This day is meant to remind us to find the balance between our home and work life. In general, workaholics tend to put work before almost everything else. This includes family, friends, and even their own health for the sake of work performances and their quest for perfectionism. As a result, multiple areas of their lives are affected negatively. Their love life can fall apart and they can become lethargic if they don't properly take care of themselves. On National Workaholics Day, we are reminded to make sure to take care of ourselves outside of our work as well. And this is to even our listeners out there, to those who are bound to be workaholics. Remember to take care of yourself, find an equilibrium between your work and yourself, and settle your life amicably. Do not forget, July 5th is the 186th day of the year and 187th in leap year in the Gregorian calendar. Therefore, we have 179 days remaining until the end of the year. We are just at the second quarter of the year. You may not be there yet, but you are getting there. Just keep moving and keep being you. Don't forget you're watching Adamazi TV. If you love this, give us a thumbs up, and if you're just joining, subscribe.